Welcome in to Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week. Come to you live from Bountiful High School as spring sport coverage kicks off here on Game Night Live Rewind as the Park City Miners have traveled down to take on the Bountiful Redhawks. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Please be joined by Tim Haslam of the Utah Lax Report. And Tim, we've got a couple of teams here with games already under their wings. Bountiful, Park City. We're going to learn a lot about these two sides here this afternoon.
Absolutely. Should be a fun game here today, Dane. I'm basically just proud that you didn't call them the Braves and that you call them actually the Redhawks, because I'm sure to call them the Braves throughout this game. But yeah, excited to be here. Great atmosphere for a great lacrosse game.
In fairness, I do have a couple of games that have helped that transition for me. In fact, the last game I did here at Larry Wall Stadium was Park City Bountiful football playoff. So it hasn't been that long. Park City, how about that start from the Miners? Nice goal here early on, as that was Chase Bear, and we haven't even had a chance to introduce Park City, and Bear on the board here with the Miners.
And he's their stud, Dane. You know, watch out for him. He'll surely have the ball in his stick on every position. Definitely one of their key guys, if not their key guy on the offensive end.
One of the juniors on this roster, one of the returners off that team that made it to the state championship game last year. And you talk about some other names familiar for Park City. Jack McHenry, a returner as well. Jude Trahan is back. This is a good group, and just like that, back-to-back goals. It's 2-0 for Park City.
Brendan Johnson with the goal. Easy play there off a transition, off that quick, fast break. Hopefully that was enough to wake up the Bountiful defense.
Well, I'll tell you this. We thought this Bountiful team, this could be a big stepping stone for them this year, but this game as well. They had a 8-7 overtime win against Bingham to start the year, but they are without their stud today, Hayden Hansen. As we've got a stoppage here. Back in play here with the Redhawks, first time today. That one jarred loose. Ground ball there, trying to be captured by Braden Bear, and he has it, leading the charge here for the Miners. Braden moving over with Chase. Penalty flag in here on the play. As Park City will be able to play through this. Stoppage at the next Bountiful possession is when that penalty will be enforced here. Chase coming to the middle. Oh, nice right in front of the goal. And that one, boy, didn't get a shot away. Nice defense there by Bountiful, as I think that might have been Cooper Lowe, the keep, that was able to jar that loose, prevented the shot, as now there is the stoppage, and we'll get the call here.
We got our two officials here today, Dane. I recognize this near one. The far one might be new. So they call in a slash on Cole Terry. Was trying for that trail check and just caught the Park City player in the helmet. And then, unfortunately, Dane, or fortunately, whenever you hit that helmet, it's going to be a flag. The refs are very sensitive about that.
Cole Terry, one of the guys that, Tim, you thought was going to have a big game today in the absence of Hayden Hansen. He finds himself here off and putting Park City man up here. Good ball movement. That shot didn't make its way through. Was deflected. Good work there by Satuala for the Redhawks. Ground ball here kind of chipped ahead. That will drift out of play. I want to let you know the clock you see on your screen is unofficial. We'll do our best to keep that as synchronized as we can with the actual clock here in the stadium.
Dane, I think this is one of the few grass fields remaining in the state. What do you think?
Yes, it is. And it was one of the things I was excited to come and play lacrosse on a grass field. We get so accustomed to the turf. How about the clean look? Huh? You don't have a lot of football lines and things to clog the vision. It's a good look here at Larry Wall Stadium.
And you may see the women's lines on the field too. They recently, the U.S. Lacrosse came out with a rule set where you could have what they call unified lines, so that both boys and girls can play on the same dimension field, which is a great step, because if it wasn't that way, you'd probably have like a red or a blue line for the girls' lines, and to your point, it would be a little bit messy. So good to see that.
As a former player, Tim, how much do you think that affects playing, coming, turf to grass? Does that give Bountiful an advantage here at all?
I think it does. They're definitely more used to playing on grass. This may be the only time that Park City plays on grass this year. Whereas Bountiful has played on it, they practice on it, and so it definitely gives them a little bit of advantage for sure. The other tricky part with this field, Dane, is might be hard to see on camera, but there's a giant crown.
Oh, it's big.
It's like almost insane, right? Just for the water, so that it runs off. But that's something to look for too. Is maybe some of these passes go a little far. We'll see if they go out of bounds.
Oh, man, got right in front of the net. That was Doer, but couldn't get a shot away. Bountiful here able to keep it, as this is Nathan Horn with it now, playing to X. Here's Bain. Back up top, worked around here. I'll tell you this, Tim, I've been down on this field multiple times over the course of covering high school sports, and when you're on one sideline, you cannot see the other sideline. That's how big the crown is. I love it. But I would imagine it's a bear to play on.
Absolutely. Like we said, only when it comes to sort of those sideline plays. As a photographer, I love it because there's pictures where, you can't really see their feet.
Yeah.
Because they're on the other side of the field, which makes for a pretty cool shot. So certainly a unique field for sure.
Good defense here by Park City, keeping everything out. That was Stout with it, now working down with Doer. Good patience here by Bountiful. Trailing 2-0. Quick goals for Park City to get things underway. And now Bountiful maybe settling in here. Looking right in front. That pass just couldn't be handled there by Hewitt. Kept by Hadley. Boy, Hadley was trying to make a run right through the middle there, and over and back here we'll give it to Park City. Miners quickly coming up the field with it, looking to attack. Now reinforcements here as Johnson electing to just peel back a little bit. Johnson, the leading goal scorer for Park City this year, has 5 goals through their first 2 contests.
Good defense there by Bountiful. They were a man short because they were subbing off, and Park City kept that guy on, and a great way to just absorb that pressure and make it so Park City has to get into their set.
We talked about Bountiful, 1-0 on the year. Park City coming in 1-1, had a 9-8 victory over Lone Peak, and then lost to Corner Canyon last weekend. 16-8 was the final in that one.
And Dane, I was at that game. Just a great game. Corner Canyon obviously dominant this year, as they were last year, as they would have been the year before. And so I talked to Coach Persky after, and he goes, they're the best team in the state. It's clear, and we were just lucky or grateful that we got to compete and get out there and play. So, it was a great game, good fun game. It was a championship rematch. Corner Canyon, though, coming away with the win.
Bountiful maybe had an opportunity to fast break there, but they couldn't get it centered. And now you've got Park City here down in the offensive end. Bayer with it to the ground. Good defense there by Hess. And, Corner Canyon welcomed in a team from Colorado just a week ago, beat them by the same score. So, hey, Park City, you can take a little something from that, right?
Yeah, no, it's Park City's actually going to Colorado this year to take on two of the best teams out of Colorado a little later, or I think the beginning of April is when they make that trip. So definitely an opportunity for them and for the state of Utah to see what we have to offer.
Penalty flag here, set up, and a finish there for Bountiful, as it is Nathan Horn with the goal, pulling Bountiful within 1.
That started all with Cole Terry, our stud who we talked about on Bountiful. He loves to push transition. Honestly, Danny never really comes out the field, and it's fun to watch sort of as an old school lacrosse fan, because that's how middies are supposed to run, right? You're going up and down the field, even though he's got a long stick. He's never leaving the field. You'd love to see it.
And there was actually a penalty behind the play as well, as he was coming across midfield. And so it will send Bruce here off, and Bountiful, having just scored the goal, now will be man up.
We'll see a man up face-off, which will give Bountiful the advantage on this near wing. 22 there, you'll see him alone.
Hadley there winning the face-off for Bountiful. He's 7-14 from the spot this year to start things off for the Redhawks. That ball, I don't know how that beat Park City. It looked like it took a late hop on Silyanov, and we're tied up at 2.
That doesn't happen on turf, Dane.
Yeah, there you go.
Little home field advantage shot there. No, I think he tried to go low to low, sort of came out of his stick early, was heading towards the sideline, but just happened to hit either a stick or a leg or something, and found the back of the net.
We've got a timeout here taken by Park City. 2 apiece. Bountiful, Park City tied up in the first. You're watching Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann Associates and brought to you by the Riley Jensen Mental Performance Group.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Welcome back. Porter Hadley credited the goal to help tie this up here at 2 apiece. And good response, Tim, from Bountiful after falling down 2-0.
Yeah, they started very poorly, to be fair, but have woken up here and, tied the game back up.
How about Terry there, keeping that ball on the ground and allowing himself to get the ground ball, and the Redhawks here pushing again. Bain. Feels like they've really gotten this pace more their liking as well, Tim.
That's right, and it all starts at that face-off X. Early on in the game, they were losing there, but then bringing number 2 in and winning those face-offs has really helped the Redhawks here.
That one regathered by Horn as they'll come back up top. Here's Hadley has the game-tying goal. If you're Park City that last time out, you're Coach Persky, what are you telling your squad here?
That was sort of a fluke goal, so I would just tell them, look, guys, accidents happen, right? it just happened to go in. Don't take it personally. Just stay in front of your guy, play excellent defense like we're seeing here, and good things will happen.
And really, it feels like Park City has been dialed in defensively today. They've done a nice job taking away some opportunities from Bountiful.
They have, and I think, if Bountiful can slow this game down, I think Park City, if you let them run and let them get up the field, it could be a long night for Bountiful. But if they can slow them down, which they've done a great job with, except for those first 2 goals, then I think that will play to Bountiful's favor.
Yeah, the 2 Park City goals came in the first 30 seconds of the game. And since then, I don't know if they've got a shot since that point.
Right. And sometimes that's what it takes, Dane,
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock. The kids have had a long day at school, maybe took a nap after school.
There's a baseball game going on the south end of the stadium.
That's right.
So there's all sorts of distractions.
Lots going on, and so, maybe a quick 2 goals from the opponent is all they needed to get back in this.
Inside of 3 to go here in our first quarter. 2 teams that hope to put together a run in 5A. Of course, Olympus strong again this year. Brighton, a team that made a run to a semifinal last year in the A classification. So there's some good teams here in 5A. It'll be a fun state tournament when we get to that point.
That's right. The other one right now is Alta, who won the Class B championship last year. They returned a bunch of studs, and they're looking really promising in 5A as well. They play Olympus tomorrow, so that should be a fun one. So lots of good lacrosse early on in the season.
Brendan Johnson here from X looking for somewhere to go. Great job defensively there by Bountiful as they have locked it in. That's Adam Maybe there with the long stick, able to slow up Johnson. As we're inside of 2 to go here in the first quarter. Johnson still surveying, looking for somewhere. Far side here with Trahan. Now Trahan from X passes wide. John Trahan up top now with Wolf. Beckett. Nice little step there. All playing right in front and a save Boy, that was right to the stick of Cooper Lowe, who's able to make a big save here late in the first.
Sometimes, Dan, these attackmen, they just are fortunate that they have the ball right that close to the goal and they just kind of shoot it without necessarily looking, without aiming. And I think that's what we had there.
Bountiful have a chance to take a lead here late in the first quarter. Bain playing back out with Stout. I'll go to X. Doer. Inside of 1 minute to go. Right in front. And a nice play made there by Silyanov.
Big save as Doer was just able to find space. There wasn't a switch on the pick. Able to get a shot right in front, but then fell in the crease afterwards.
A minor speed right back up the field. Johnson with it clocked down inside of 30. Johnson, nice spin, working around the defense. Over with John. Extra pass to Bruce. Brighton. Back with John, trying to get around the defense there. Has a bit of a lane. Crosses it right in front. Oh, good body check put on there and delays the shot from Ronan. That ball still loose in the quarter. Has expired. A couple of stands by this Bountiful defense has us tied up at 2 after 1. You're watching Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann Associates and brought to you by the Riley Jensen Mental Performance Group. Welcome back. Start of the second quarter. Dane Stewart, Tim Haslam of the Utah Lax Report. Tim, first quarter. Good start for Park City. Good response from Bountiful. If you're Park City, what are you looking to do to get back on track here? There you go. Answer is Chase Bayer with his second.
Yeah, a quick goal off the face-off, but that's exactly how the game started. You know, it's interesting that Bountiful went with 26 there. Smith Alley as number 2, Porter Hadley had been taking the rest, or, you know, those later ones. And so, you know, I suspect Hadley will take the rest here as we go throughout this game. But, yeah, that's essentially it. Win the face-off, get a great fast break goal. That's a great way to get back on track if you're the Miners.
It never looks very good when, as the play-by-play, you set up a question and it's like answered on the field before
sure.
You know, your partner even has a chance to even say something about it. So we're still getting in our mid-season form here.
That's right.
Park City winning this face-off again. Bayer with it. Good help coming over there from Satuala for the Redhawks. Boy, they had Bruce, a bit of a dodge right to the net. Couldn't get him the ball, and that whistle will give it to the Redhawks. Remind me what that indication is, Tim.
It looks like they might have had a push or maybe a hold.
Okay.
It was weird because Chase was on the ground, but excellent defense, though, by Bountiful here, Dane. I mean, it's the adage of just stay in front of your guy and make him beat you. And in that scenario, Chase wasn't able to win that matchup. And just a great defensive stand. If you're the coach, Coach Pete Jordan for Bountiful, you're pretty proud of your guys right now.
And when you look at this region, I mean, Viewmont made that run in the C class last year. But you look at, you know, Woods Cross and Bonneville, and I mean, there's some programs there, but the way this first quarter's play, first game of the year, you beat Bingham, team that a lot of people had expectations of, and you come back against Park City. I think a lot of people would say they're top 3 in the state this year. You got to feel pretty good about what you've seen in the early minutes here.
Absolutely. And again, without one of their studs in Hayden Hansen. And so, you know, I certainly would have them as the favorite in their region. You know, they're, like you said, I think maybe a Bonneville may challenge them. I haven't seen Bonneville this year. You know, Northridge is coming down from the 6A ranks. So they may have something to say about that, Dane. But for the most part, it's Bountiful's region for sure. You know, and then a lot of people thought coming into Park City's region, they switched regions. And so they're in a very tough region with Olympus, East, Skyline, Highland. And so that's a great little region too in Brighton. And so, Park City definitely was voted, or sorry, Olympus was the favorite in that region coming in the preseason coaches poll, but Park City right behind them. So.
Well, I'll tell you, usually Park City Lacrosse does not need bulletin board material, but there you go.
Sure.
There's some free.
Sure.
This one on the ground, trying to be kept here by the Redhawks. Bain.
And they're a different team than they were last year in that title game.
Right.
We're 9 months removed from it, but they are a much different team. Lots of young players that they're getting valuable reps right now, and that's how every team is though, Dane. Every team graduates seniors,
Well, and look, I'm still getting caught up to speed with Utah Lacrosse, but it still says Park City across the jersey,
Totally,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, it's still Park City Lacrosse.
Absolutely, and they're extremely well coached, and so here we are on the end of March, and when we see these teams again in the end of May,
look at that defense.
It's gonna be a different team for sure.
Man, I mean, that's physicality by Andrew Hunt. He just was not going to give Doer any ability, and now we've got a flag coming on here. Bountiful will play this out. Doer right ahead, had that one jarred loose on the stick work there of Braden Baer, and we'll get the call here. Slash there called on Braden Baer.
It's times like this where you miss, you miss Hayden Hansen, as he's able to just he has a great outside shot, and can really run that the offense. But you'll notice Cole Terry went and got his short stick to play man up, and there he is with the ball. So an interesting strategy there, putting in a pull, giving him a short stick, and putting him on the man up. There, Dane, there's some teams that run a pull on their man up, and so it's interesting that they don't here, because that's also a strategy. You get him open at the top and just let him fling it, and that's I've seen that before as well, but opting for the short stick here today.
This ball worked around. Clemens gives that over to Hewitt. Now a shot, and that hit off the post, and then the follows in. We'll get a flag here, but the goal will count. Oh, how about the charge by Doer to tie us up at 3?
Terry with the outside shot, like we thought he might do, sort of that low to high riser. Looked like it was saved, and then Doer right on the doorstep. I think he hockey sticked it in and got pushed at the same time. So the goal is good for the Redhawks. What a play.
And we'll get the call here.
So it'll be waved off because it was just a 30-second penalty. But we're all even.
Bountiful again with a response. And, man, love the hustle there by the Redhawks. And tell you, they have not let Park City create a lot of separation. This face-off won here by Jude Trahan. It's pretty remarkable to consider all 3 Park City goals have been within 30 seconds of a period start, right?
That's right. That's right.
Wolf. Oh, nice find right in front of the net. And couldn't tell if that was deflected. Looked like it was. Almost took a bit of a change, but backed up by Park City. Bruce. Couldn't find Bayer right in front of the net. As they send it out. Here's Birch. Being defended by Hansen. It's Connor Hansen, senior. And that ground shot, boy, nice job deflecting the save there again, put on by Lowe.
Great save by Lowe there, and a great backup by Bountiful. Bayer able to get open using just that off-ball movement to slip behind his guy, finds the wide open shot, but just a great point-blank save by Lowe.
Here come the Redhawks, Terry, and that long shot saved by Silyanov. He's looking right up the field. Pass to the midline with Bayer. Chase. Looking right in front. Couldn't connect. And that one kept and scored. Having your teammates back, and that was Johnson with his second goal of the match.
Brendan Johnson, just a sophomore, out there getting those valuable varsity reps. Just a great play there. Byer with the wraparound on the transition. Looked like it was an errant pass, and Johnson just there able to scoop it up and score at lefty. Interesting thing to note, Dane. If I'm Cole Terry there, I love that shot on the Bountiful end, but got to get it on the ground.
Yeah,
this grass can do anything, and the Park City goalie certainly isn't used to saving shots off the grass. So I'd like to see that one place a little lower.
Park City numbers right off the face-off, and that one just kind of fell out of the pocket, and Bountiful able to gather it. It's kind of got a bit of a hockey feel to it, right? Where you just don't know how that ball is going to deflect on the grass surface, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing for shooters.
Absolutely.
Bain with it. Doer right in front. There you go. Tim, it's what you want to get that ball off the turf, and a nice finish there by Horn.
What a great feed. It's, you know, Dane, in like lacrosse textbooks 101, you would never advise your attackman to throw it from the end line through the middle, but it worked out, and I love it. It worked out, and that's kind of what Bountiful style has always been. It's kind of, I wouldn't say like loose or you know, uncontrolled, but it's just kind of feed the crease, find the open guy, you know, take your shots, and it's paid off for him so far.
I do feel like, you know, it's an early season game, right? I mean, it's the second game of the year for Bountiful, third for Park City. I've been surprised at some of the open players in front of the net, but I think some of that is still just early, right? And system and players getting custom and game action. And
yeah, absolutely. You know, like we said, players graduate, players transfer, players are hurt, you know, and so you've got a bunch of guys, Dane, who, for Bountiful especially, that are playing, you know, in just their second varsity game.
Yeah.
You know, and with no playoffs in JV, you know, the last games they played were maybe early May of last year, you know, and then if they don't play club, like, they haven't played in a long time. And so it is just part of getting back into the season, getting back into the swing of things. You know, they'll watch the tape after this one and learn from their mistakes and get better and better. And every team's doing it, and that's the beauty of it.
Chase had that one knocked out. Good defense there by Satuala. And that ball kept in. Oh, good stick work. And then they say, no, that was out.
It did look like his foot was on the line when he kept that one back in, but what do we know, Dane? We're just clear up here.
Yeah. Sometimes I think of a wedding singer. Well, I have the microphone and you don't. But, yeah, I do like to think officials are, you know, there's reasons why they're the spots they are. They've got better sight lines than we do. And so I tend to give them a good break on those sort of things. Yeah. Just staying on. Wolf playing over with Trahan. Here's Jude. Trahan coming up. Little stunner there by Johnson. Trying to work around Hess. Nice job there by Cameron, staying right with him. Nice spin move. Wolf shook the defender. That one couldn't get in the net. And Park City still with it. His backside, John Trahan was able to keep the possession for the Miners. Right in front, off the post, and gathered there by Lowe.
Just a few more inches to the left, and that one's in.
That pass over the stick. Ground ball, that one gathered, still on the turf. Maybe was able to hold that for the Redhawks, although that pass missed. Long pull there, trying to push that to help. Could not. Good check there at midfield. Another one, and now we'll get a stoppage.
It's a loose ball push. It's a fair call.
Here come the Miners right in front. And it's Byer again, his third of the game. No, never mind.
Said he landed in the crease. So a crease violation.
Bountiful on a quick right down the field, and Jamison Bain able to give the Redhawks their first lead of the game.
Here's what Bountiful's doing, Dane. They're just playing at their own pace and making Park City play with them. If I'm Park City, I need to start dictating that pace, right? And start being the aggressor there. In my opinion, you know, it's Park City's mantra or style to slow it down, play this methodical offense. They're capable of running full bore with Bountiful. So it might be time to, you know, unleash it.
So, Tim, I'm going to ask you. You said Byer landed in the crease. Explain for our casual viewers crease rules.
Yeah, so there's this crease around the goal. It's the white circle painted around it. And so if you have the ball, you cannot enter into that crease. And so in this case, Bayer shot it, and then his foot landed in the crease before the ball crossed the goal line. That's what the ref judged it to be. And so in that case, you know, it was considered in the crease while the ball was still in play, so to speak. The college, it's different. The college you can do that. That would have been a legal goal in college. So
Byer trying to make right, and that's saved by Lowe. He's been sharp. He's had a couple nice saves today.
he has, you know, Bountiful's got to figure out this Byer in the middle situation, though, because he's been open several times.
Yes, he has. Boy, numbers for Bountiful. Nice pass and a save by Silyanov. Oh, what great passing there by the Redhawks, but they couldn't beat AJ, the sophomore, with a big save.
Timeout, Bountiful.
1:04 to go. The Redhawks going to take a moment to talk it over. Man, how about AJ? That's a big save for Park City.
Big time save, right? The ball was on his right side, and he was right on that right pipe. Had to move all the way over to get to that left pipe. Nice save. Excellent save.
Well done. Timeout. We'll step aside, be back with the final minute of this first half on Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week. Here, first half, Bountiful leading Park City 5-4 to be Red Hawk possession. Tim, if you're Bountiful, what are you looking to do here? Do you hold for a last shot, or do you just try to run your stuff, and whenever you get a good look, you get it?
I think you run your stuff, and when you get a good look, you take it. You know, Bountiful's controlled the pace of play here, and you don't want to necessarily hamper that just to get the last shot. On the other hand, though, it would be nice to take a 2-goal lead in a halftime if they were to score. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
They are spacing the offensive end here, so they look pretty intent on being willing to take a last shot, and they've done some good work against this Park City defense, and see if Coach Persky's squad can make a stand here. Our clock is just about 2 seconds ahead of your game clock. To give you a bit of a feel. Worked over with Stout. Now to the corner. Horn to X. Doer looking in front of the net. Pushed off there. Doer again looking in front, but that pass too high. Sails and an over and back. And with that, the half comes to a close. The Bountiful Redhawks. Did we get a timeout? The clock? No.
I thought that far ref had signaled a timeout, but no, you're right. Halftime.
I thought he did too, but the clock said 0, and they didn't look to put more time on. So we have reached the break. Bountiful leading Park City 5-4 midway through. You're watching Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heinemann Associates. Oh, they are going to put 2 seconds on. All right.
They are.
Tim. Those eyes, man. You were all over that from the start. Timeout, Park City.
I saw that far ref make the motion. The near ref, though, which is ironic because he was closer to the Park City bench, didn't make that motion. But we'll have a timeout here, and then we'll have 2 seconds left. And anything can happen in this scenario, Dane. That's the fun of this. I think you put your strongest shooter with the ball and just have him step into it. Hopefully catch a deflection like that one goal in the first quarter.
So they're going to take it from just inside the half line.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball will start on the whistle. So you got to be pretty quick here. I mean, I know it's 2 seconds, which is 2 seconds, but it's only 2 seconds. We'll see if they get a look.
Yeah, that's right. No, Chase will just step into it, sling it, and hope for the best.
And that'll do it.
Yep.
Halftime it is. Now it's halftime. 5-4 Bountiful at the break. You're watching Game Night Live Rewind. We'll be back with the second half. Welcome back. Start of the second half. Bountiful Park City. Redhawks leading the Miners 5-4. Dane Stewart, Tim Haslam from the Utah Lax Report. Tim, I think we were talking at halftime and both, I don't want to say surprised, but I don't know that I saw a 5-4 lead at the break for Bountiful coming into this game. What did you see in the first half? What adjustments did you make here in half number 2? As that shot is wide, but backed up here by Bountiful.
I certainly didn't expect this score, for sure. And so if it was 5-4, it definitely would have been Park City was the leader. If I'm Park City, though, what I want to do is I'm going to be hesitant to pressure out because Bountiful's shown that they can beat that pressure. But on offense, you got to run. I just feel like they're moving too slow. The pace isn't there. Their players are kind of lethargic. And so I think that would be my key if I was Park City to get back and to get back the lead and then put it away.
Well, when you think about the Park City goals, 4 of them, 3 of them have been off of a face-off and scored within 10 seconds of said face-off. So it has been that quickness, right, getting in front of the net. And another shot here backed up by Bountiful. I mean, that's been 3 of their 4 goals. And
yeah, so I mean, in that light, Dane, they've scored 1 goal in their 6-on-6,
right,
which isn't great.
Yeah.
So, simply put, it's not great.
What is Bountiful doing well, and do they continue with game plan? Any adjustments you have here for the Redhawks? That stick lost.
No, I think they're playing as well as they can, and definitely to Pete Jordan's Coach Pete Jordan's plan. It's play at your own pace. Don't let Park City dictate the pace because that's what's kept them or given them the lead in this game. Defensively, just watch out for Chase Byer, 23. He's sneaky, and he's had a lot of open looks, that have been saved by Lowe. So eventually those will start going in, so you got to watch him.
Lowe has played really well. Stilianoff with a couple nice saves late in that first half for Park City. We've had good shows from each keeper here in this first half. Is now Park City with their first offensive possession here of this second half.
And if I'm Bountiful, I'd let Park City throw the ball around 20 times, and not pressure out and get beat that way, and let them – kind of hold it and take the air out of your stick. That only plays into Bountiful's hands, I believe.
Well, they really have done a nice job not getting beat and good help defense as you see it there again. It's been a team concept here for Bountiful in this first half as Chase trying to work around, lost it momentarily. 3 Redhawks there. Chase still with it. Man. Well, that stick up high. Chase, boy, even drew Lowe over, but didn't have any help, and that was sent out.
That's just great defense by Tenek Elgren. Just staying in front, getting a stick on the stick when you can. Just, man, great defense. And he's not even their best pull, to be fair. I still, Cole Terry clearly
right.
isn't. So,
right.
They have Terry, though, kind of in that LSM role, so I get that, but.
Working from X. Oh, sneaky shot, and the goal scored by Johnson. His 3rd of the contest to tie us up at 5.
Great play there by Johnson, able to get his hands free, able to, get those couple steps up the field to improve that angle. And then, that's a shot you practice in your backyard, Dane. Just a great shot, a lot of muscle memory involved in that. Just a great placement, great bounce shot. Hard for Lowe to stop those. Hard for any goalie to stop those.
Yeah. Johnson has been, look, he's been kind of the light today for Park City. 3 goals, 3 of their 5. He's their leading goal scorer coming into the contest now with 8 on the season.
Came to play, simply put.
We our clock a little ahead of the game clock, so we're going to let that catch up. I'll tell you what, Braden Byer, he's taken some big checks today, but he's been strong for the Miners as he'll come off here with them having the possession. Mulholland with it straight away. Looking right in front. Boy, that was a threaded pass and a shot and a goal right in front of the net. Scored by Brighton Bruce. Back-to-back goals from Park City. And the Miners retake the lead.
Great inside feed there. Great handle. There's a lot of pressure when you're standing right there on the crease. So just great stick skills. I thought the ball would come out, but still in a stick and able to dunk it in.
That was a heck of a threaded pass, and Bruce was there, able to corral it and finish it. So good response here from Park City. A couple goals back to back. That finally taken by John Trahan for the Miners. Trahan right in front, and that just, boy, snuck out of the pocket there of Brighton Bruce, who was nearly set up right in front of the cage again.
It's like in baseball when the outfielder is wide open, it's this giant pop fly, and he just misses it, right? He just closes his mitt before it gets to him.
The sun is getting a little bit lower. Don't know if that had something to do with it. You can see the shadow lines on the field here. Here comes Braden Byer. Over with Johnson. Oh, good movement again, and they're able to beat low. He had to come out, and that's just great vision and nice finish.
Great play there by the Miners. They're starting to really work the ball, to each other instead of just holding it in their sticks. That quick ball movement, kind of like we talked about, slowing it down, holding it behind X, waiting for the play to develop, wasn't working for him. Play the Bountiful's pace, and good things will happen. And
the Redhawks here taking a timeout is Coach Jordan wanting to get the troops back on the same page as a surge here from Park City finds the Miners ahead by 2. You're watching Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week. We'll be back.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I'm going to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
.742 to go here in the third. Tim, to your point, Park City, it feels like they're kind of back to what I expected them to look like here in first 4 minutes of this second half. Back to minor lacrosse.
Yeah, and just a simple pace change, right? You start pushing it, start getting it in transition, working the ball around, and good things will happen. See how Bountiful responds.
Now we're going to get a push there on Byer. Tell you, Braden Byer, that young man, he's not afraid to bring the physicality.
Definitely, and you know, it certainly helps when you're playing another physical team to have that match physicality.
And you look at him, he's number 8, and I mean, lacrosse players wear pads, but when the pads become pronounced, that's when you know the guy's big. And how about, boy, I think someone's a little tired of the physicality of Byers. You saw Smith Alley there be called here for the charge. Oh, helmet to helmet.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a big one. So, yeah, did they say both guys are?
They did. So it was helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yep.
And so the Park City's going to argue that 8 was just standing there, right? Kind of in basketball, it was a charge, where the official maybe thought came into him a little hard. Anyway, 26 for Bountiful, though, lowered his head. That was clear.
Yeah.
Which is a penalty. You can't lower your head and go towards guys and knock them over. But I think both are in the penalty box for 2 minutes, non-releasable. So we'll go 5-on-5 here for 2 minutes.
The official was very quick on the call and came over and let both staffs know, hey, look, we're not headhunting today, right? We're not doing that. Was very clear with it. But, players on both sides in the box here.
And to be honest with you, Dan, I love it. I appreciate that honesty, that call, just – you could argue that it's a little unfair maybe to the Park City player, but, just nip it in the bud right out of the gate, and I doubt we see it again this game.
Well, and I think with the physicality, we talked about it, the buyers brought, right? And Bountiful clearly getting some frustration with that as a goal here from the Redhawks. And so it just sends the message, look, this is a physical game. We want it to be physical, but we're not crossing the line.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You can play up to it. We're good with that. But at some point, we got to know where to stop.
That's right.
Meanwhile, Bountiful with the goal there. That was Doer with the finish there for the Redhawks. An important goal to pull us back to within 1. They've not trailed by more than 2 here today. They've always had that response. Bountiful has.
Yeah, and we get a rare 5-on-5 face-off. And so both that far wing is empty, which is an interesting thing that doesn't happen often in the game of lacrosse.
Park City wins it. Jude working over to Chase. Trying to get around the defense there of Elgrin. Bountiful to recover.
It's interesting, Dane, when you're playing 5-on-5, the middle of the field is even more wide open.
Yeah.
And so your slides have to be quicker, maybe coming from different areas. So if you haven't practiced this as a team, it can get a little tricky.
Boy, and you see that time Park City trying to take advantage of a substitution as they were bringing Andrew Hunt on, and Bountiful had to quickly run their defender on. They were bringing Wolf on, and Bountiful had to run such well. He had to cover a lot of ground to not give up that open run, and did a nice job as that pass sailing through and out of play.
And on a turf field, Dane, I think that stays. That crown on this field is so pronounced, that ball just trickles out of bounds.
I joke with a lot of people about the crown, but I do love it.
Oh, totally.
It's such a unique thing
totally.
here. I absolutely love it. I don't have to play on it, but here comes Bountiful. Hewitt to the middle, extra pass, boy, and that time Bain wasn't really expecting it, and Bountiful gives it up. Here's Wolf now, a lot of space, Park City. They've got numbers if they can hurry. Straight away, shot, Johnson, and the goal.
We talked about it in the first half, Dane. This grass presents different challenges for the goalie as the ball comes off it. And there you just see a nice low-to-low, sort of a worm burner from Johnson. I feel like Lowe should have got that one. It's almost like he didn't get his stick quite down, sort of like a shortstop in baseball, just didn't get it quite down all the way. Unfortunate there for Lowe, but, great shot by Johnson.
He continues to be dialed in today. He is, for sure, had one of the more impressive games. One of the more impressive performances in this game, I guess I should say. And that given to Park City on the hold. Here's Ronan trying to work around Terry. Terry lost his footing, now back up. Ronan still with it, had it knocked out. Good work there by Elgrin. Park City not giving up this ground ball easily, and Byer coming out with it. Chase. In some traffic. This old post up from Chase Byer and the bounce and the goal for Chase.
Great inside roll dodge there, able to see the double team coming from Terry, rolls away from pressure, just a nice bounce shot. Low, unfortunate on that one as he came out of the cage, maybe a tad early.
How about the old post up there by Chase, huh?
Yeah, it's a play.
Get your man
it's
on the block. And March Madness friends probably appreciated that one. And now the largest lead of the game here for Park City. Been an impressive third quarter. They had just 4 goals through the first half. They've scored 5 here in the first 8 minutes of play of this third quarter. Face off, won by Hadley. That one lost. It's Byer.
You got to get 2 hands on that stick, Dane, when you're running away from pressure.
And a lot of stick checks that Byer just runs right through. Now here's Chase. No look pass, was trying to get that near side to Johnson. Brendan able to recover it for the Miners. Feels like Bountiful. It's not that they've lost confidence, but some of the plays they were making early, they just haven't been able to find that consistency here in this third quarter.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. And maybe it did in that first half for Bountiful.
I mean, even that one, I think we've talked about Hadley's been great, in the face-off today for Bountiful. He's bringing it into the offensive zone. That just bounces out, right? And you got a ground ball, and Park City first to it, able to get it, and they're right back up the field with their speed. And that's just been kind of the difference of the half is the penalty here, cross-check called on Elgren.
Going to say hit him in the head, which I think it did get a little high there. Maybe not intentionally, but did make contact with the helmet. So a 1 minute non-releasable.
Yeah, he didn't appear as though Elgren agreed with the call, was maybe surprised by it, but a chance for Park City here to really put a stamp on this game. Shot just wide there from Johnson.
Dane, I've rarely seen a player who gets a penalty agree with the penalty, to be fair.
That is true, but I don't always see the arms go up like, really?
Sure.
Another one where Bountiful has an opportunity to get the possession. They just left it. Park City still with it. Jude right in front of Chase, and Chase once again with the goal. It's 10-6.
Yeah, sneaky little play there. This happens a lot on these man-up opportunities where you draw a guy into the middle, so that's going to pull out that far defender, and then the extra attackman, so to speak, is wide open on the crease. Utah used to run that man-up play a lot and had a lot of success with it. So good execution there by the Miners to capitalize on that. Still a man-up. Well, let's see. Yeah, he's still in there. Still a man-up.
Yeah, non-releasable, and that time has not been served yet. It's been a 6-1 third quarter for Park City.
The upper bodies of Park City were here on time, but maybe the legs were still stuck on the ski slopes. But good to see they come down.
They've certainly got their legs now. I mean, this is looking like the Park City team that I think people have gotten accustomed to. We talk about the program, the legacy, and they've really responded here in this second half as Johnson left alone now up top. Chase Byer, that one just high, backed up here by Bruce.
There's a lot of different strategies in lacrosse, Dane, like any sport, obviously. But subbing on defense is not one that I would recommend, especially for a young team, and especially if the other team is pulling guys out, right? But it just creates a lot of issues. Why would you run a guy off who's literally in a defensive position to bring on a guy to put in his place? Like, that just doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't advise it if you're watching. Don't sub on defense, especially when he's guarding the guy with the ball. That makes no sense.
There's Johnson right in front. Byer again. Man, it's still man up, but Byer's just making a living here with the advantage.
Same play. It was the exact same play, right? You get the defense moving, suck a guy down the middle, and then Byers left wide open as that defender is paying attention to that guy caught him down the middle of the field.
That penalty now responsible for 2 goals and still in the box here.
The Bountiful energy
It's been drained.
Completely deflated. Yep. Definitely need a spark.
And it's Alley here at the X for Bountiful. And Park City with the win. Byer. Over with Chase. I thought I heard 20 seconds the call on the penalty at the time of the face-off, so probably down to about 10 or 12 here. Clock inside of a minute.
You can hear the Park City coaches yelling, "Hold for one, hold for one."
And that shot blocked by Lowe. Nice save there.
The play was to hold for one, but you can't pass up a shot, 2 yards from the crease.
Right.
It's fair. And they're just kids, Dane, at the end of the day.
Well, and Bruce has had a couple of those today, right?
Yeah.
And those eyes get big and got that opportunity, right?
Yeah. Good save, though, by Lowe.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You think about that Bingham game for Brighton. They had a 2-0 fourth quarter. They had to come from behind, against Bingham. They had a 2-0 fourth quarter. They had to come from behind to force overtime. If you're Park City, it's, look, we've done all the work to get the lead. We kind of got our legs under us, our mojo going again. We don't want to give that up. Totally understand the play for one here. Is clock inside of 10. And that saved, and boy, nearly found Johnson. That was Bruce in front of the net. Couldn't be collected, and the quarter expires. So Bountiful gets a stop they desperately needed, and it's 11-6 through 3.
Obviously an excellent quarter there by the Miners. Exciting to see them kind of get their mojo back, like you said. Bountiful completely deflated. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Jordan tells the boys.
A 7-1 third, and Park City with a 5-goal lead as we head to the fourth next on Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week. Stewart, Tim Haslam from the Utah Lax Report. Tim, great third quarter for Park City. Not a great third quarter for Bountiful. What do the Redhawks have to do here in the fourth to try to come back and extend this game or win this game?
Yeah, they got to get that momentum back. They went with Doer at the face-off X to try to change it up because he hasn't taken a face all game. Park City though winning that face-off. Nice tip out by Colterri, but a big defensive stop here with a great offensive possession. We'll get hopefully get the momentum back for Bountiful. 5 goals though, a tough task for sure.
And we saw Park City be very deliberate offensively in the first half. Do you think they kind of slipped back into that here with a big lead and seeing that they've seen sparks from Bountiful and just not wanting to let that get going?
I mean, I'd hope not, because I think that it's like in football, it's the prevent defense, right? You're doing a prevent offense if you're just going to work it around and take these long shots or these long possessions. So I would hope that they would push it and try to find open opportunities.
And that was Bruce right in front of the net again. But a flag on the play here. And push there. Called on Terry. .30-second penalty here for Cole. Another man advantage for the Miners. They really thrived on this in the third.
They did, and Dane looked. Chase Byers wide open, So I bet they pass it to him. Yep.
Look at that. Chase maybe, I don't want to say took it easy there, but Bountiful was able to recover before he got a shot away.
I think he could have shot it if he wanted to.
I think he probably could have. Here's Chase with it again. And penalty served. Terry coming back on. And that stick break? No, just jarred loose. Ball on the floor, and now we've got a whistle here.
I was watching Terry with the ball, but my hunch is that while Byer was down, they pushed him. If he's on the floor at all, you can't touch him.
Extended possession here for Park City. That dodge on the shot right off the post. Trying to gather that ground ball. Coming out there was maybe for Bountiful, still on the floor before being gathered. And we're going to get a cross check here to the head, I believe. Flag on the play. Park City with it right in front. Chase through the wickets. Chase Byer once again with the goal for the Park City.
Great heads-up play there. You know, those are the type of fast break plays you practice. You know, textbook execution. Great shot by Chase. Doing what he does best.
And we have the ground ball back here. I thought I saw a stick kind of right up high. We'll see if that is indeed the call. I know it is against Bountiful. Oh, it was a push. So that will not be enforced due to 30 seconds, so we're even.
All even, flag waved off. You know, that's a fair play. Excellent goal there by Park City. You know, again, how do you get your momentum back if you're Bountiful? I think is by winning this faceoff.
And they do. Hadley right in front, and that was cleaned up. Doer was right in front. As a penalty flag coming in here on the play, the long stick shot that was deflected midway through. Still was not possessed. Now is, and the whistle will stop it. And we'll get the penalty here. Well, how about that check right in front of the net on Doer?
We're far away.
Yeah.
It looked hard, you know. Obviously, he went down pretty hard. But to be clear, Dane, you can legally hit someone hard. You can legally cross-check or, you know, body check someone hard. And so, hard to tell. Obviously, the ref saw something we didn't. And nice opportunity for Bountiful to get some momentum back. I mean, Dane, the reality is here, let's say Bountiful, you know, gets 2, Park City maybe gets 1 or 2 more. That's a respectable score. If you're looking at scores tonight, you're like, oh, yeah, of course, Bountiful, you know, that's an expecting score. Obviously, hopefully they tuned in and saw the first half, but, you know, no shame in losing to Park City.
Toronto serving the penalty here for the Miners. Look, for me, if I'm Coach Jordan, it's like, guys, let's get back to what we were doing in the first half, right? It might not be enough to come back in this game,
sure,
but let's end on the positive momentum we had created against a really good Park City team and take that into our next matchup. They got Farmington next. That's a team that was really stout last year in the A classification. And, you know, you want to build off of that momentum heading into that one. And there's a goal scored by Bain.
Great turn and shoot. That's textbook right there. He didn't need to turn it that fast, but you know, against faster, quicker defenses, that's the exact play you want on your man up. Just a great shot there. So, you know, Silstrup didn't see it coming. Great goal. And like you said, Dane, Bountiful's got Farmington next. You know, last year they were in the same region. They were the ones who challenged Farmington in that region. It's kind of a rivalry game. Coach Jordan went to high school with Coach Taylor at Farmington. You know, a lot of the kids know each other. So, yeah, it's an important game for both programs, to be honest with you. And it'll be good to see, like you said, if you're Bountiful, you want to take a lot of momentum into that game.
Park City with the win on the face-off. Chase, man, what a second half he has had. And then that over and back will give it here to the Redhawks. And the Redhawks are flying here quickly. Played wide right in front. And the goal, the finish from Doer. And back-to-back goals here for the Redhawks.
And that's just great unselfish play. First of all, it's a heads-up play by Cole Terry to pick up that ground ball and just start running, right? He didn't wait around for the ref, he went. And kudos to the refs for letting him do that, right? You'll see a lot of refs actually stop that play.
Yeah.
He could have taken it easily when he was open there at about the 8-meter line, that girl's second line. But instead he got the pass, the one more. he could have shot it on the wing, but instead decided to go one more over the door and score. Just great unselfish play.
And for me, if I'm Coach Shore, I'm saying, guys, that's what we want to get back to, right? Because you think about the first half, how many odd man situations they created, especially in front of the net.
Right.
And it led to great things. It was what gave them the halftime lead. As the whistle there on the faceoff, we'll give it to Park City. But, man, get back to that, right? That speed, the athleticism, getting extra men, and see if you can crawl back to a couple goal deficit here.
Similar statements, though, for Park City. You want to also have that momentum heading into your next games.
I mean, they get AF, and that'll be a great test for both programs as Chase Byer right in front, scoring it again for Park City. Good response there for Chase and the Miners.
Many say that American Fork team is probably the second best in 6A. Maybe third or fourth overall. And so, yeah, great test for them. They are giants. They have several players over 6'3", 6'4", and so you look at this Park City squad who aren't that way, and so, yeah, that'll be a great matchup coming up this week as well.
Want to remind you, we will have lacrosse for you every week right here on KSLSports.com. We'll be perusing for matchups and obviously want to cover the state as well as we can, so check out us on social media. Of course, Utah Lax Report. You guys do a great job covering lacrosse throughout the state. So we will have all sorts of lacrosse coverage for you all spring long, including championships right here on KSLSports.com. And, boy, some of those matchups, we won't get to them this week. But as the season goes on, we certainly will and cannot wait for some premier lacrosse matchups in the state this year.
Absolutely. And for fans who are just tuning in, this is the first year in a long time that there's been a 6A, 5A, 4A championship. Usually it's, at the beginning of the year, it's 1 to 58 and then kind of seed them accordingly. But this year's the first year that they're doing the classification. So a whole new dynamic, Dane, which is exciting, and for those who follow all of high school sports, you'll likely get another Corner Canyon American Fork matchup. So there you go.
There's Tim's preseason pick. I loved the A, B, C division format last year. I wish they would have kept that for another year or two as the sport continues to grow. But, aligning it classifications, which is what every other sport does, I get it. And, it will create some interesting matchups. I mean, you look at, your 4A and, a really good team up in Green Canyon. Who's going to compete with them? We talked about 5A, some of the versatility in the 5A classification. 6A, obviously, Corner Canyon, a team that you figure will be in play, get some national respect this year with how good that roster is. So we've got some great lacrosse in the state this year, and it'll be fun to see who can step up and compete with some of those favorites in each classification. Park City quickly down, and that one just snuck in.
That's unfortunate for Lowe. He had his body in the right position, just happened to hit off his side and go in. He was in good position, though. Unfair as a goalie.
A holding penalty, it'll be waved off, and the goal scored there by Brighton Bruce for Park City. 14-8, the score here for the Miners. And, Tim, there was that burst offensively from Park City, right? Up the field quickly, and you get a good look and a goal.
Yeah, Bountiful does look a little tired. Playing maybe a little lethargic. Even in the first half, I felt like they still were. But, Park City just needs to get out and run and kind of, put this game completely out of reach.
McHenry looking up for Chase. Chase trying to work against Elgren. Elgren trying to stay stout and strong. Played up with Mulholland.
That's just great defense by Elgren. I love it.
Little screen there.
I love it because he's a good head shorter than the other Bountiful poles, yet he plays just as tall as they do.
And I do think that's another area you can take away if you're a Red Hawk, is their defense today really has been good. I mean, it's been some of the man-up situations for Park City, some of the speed, right, where they've gotten some matchups.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Really, 6-on-6, they've they've held their own defensively.
Absolutely. Absolutely they have.
Redhawks with it. Bain. Penalty flag in here. Bain able to shake the defense. So that shot might have been deflected, backed up. We'll get the stoppage here for the penalty. Looks to be a hold here, I believe. A call there on Toronto.
Going to go with a hold. It's funny, Dane. I do not envy these officials because I feel like on any play, it could be a hold, it could be a slash, it could be a push. Sometimes the same thing in one instance.
Well,
you know, just depending on where sticks fall and all of that. So
you know, as a commentator, sometimes you kind of walk out on the ledge of guessing what you think the call is going to be, and I'm probably shooting about 33% on that because, to your point, some of the intricacies of those calls. Very technical, and it's not easy to make. Another one that just leaps out of the pocket there, this time from Doer.
And then you throw in the complexity of, did it hit the helmet? Was the helmet contact intentional? Right? And it's not easy. It's not an easy game to officiate, that's for sure.
Of course, if you think you can do better, you can submit an application to be an
totally.
official. We could use more of them
Absolutely.
in the state. So our officials do a really good job. They're trained, and not an easy job by any means, but always looking to help strengthen that. It only helps to grow the sports that we love to watch and support here in the state.
And usually, Dane, when you have a two-man crew, most lacrosse games are a three-man crew. When you have a two-man crew, sometimes games can get out of hand.
Yeah.
There's like really terrible calls. I feel these two officials have done really well.
That
The
shot,
teams don't agree, but you know,
Right.
I feel like they've done well.
That shot from Hadley, and I'll just go back to the moment we talked about helmet to helmet. You cannot like that call. It's okay. But it's one of those moments where this crew, understanding that they're, you know, a two-man instead of a three-man, they're trying to maintain the focus and composure of the game, right? So I think they have done a really good job of keeping that within, you know, realm, but yet also letting the teams play. And been a great afternoon. Doer stood up, able to hold it, and the flag coming in there. The check from Hebert. And there's a stoppage.
I was at the BYU Concordia Irvine game, which is an MCLA team game on Saturday, and the three officials I know really well, and I was talking to them at halftime. They officiate high school games as well. I said, "What's the most common thing you've seen?" All three of them, without hesitation, cross-check. And so the cross-check rules have changed a little bit recently. You know, when I played, Dane, if your thumbs weren't touching, it was considered a cross-check. So if any part of that stick was showing between your hands, it was considered a cross-check. And that's relaxed a little bit. But they said far and away that's been the most common thing that they've seen is these kids just full extension, the whole stick showing, you know, and just checking kids right in the side or in the head. And so that's something to look for as we continue through the season, you know, if that's going to continue. And it was interesting. I didn't think they'd say that.
Good patience there, but this Park City defense staying strong. Terry works over Doer, trying to get that to the middle, and that rising shot was too high, backed up there by Bountiful. Clemens over with Doer. Bain couldn't possess it. The deflection captured here by Silyanov. And we've got a timeout. Timeout taken here by Park City. Welcome back here. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Park City A 7-1 third quarter helped them create the separation that has the difference in this game right now. And a reminder, Bountiful has been playing today without their leading scorer, Hayden Hansen. A valiant effort here from the Redhawks.
Definitely lots to be proud of if you're Bountiful. You know, leading at halftime, you're going to go, you know, watch this film and discover how not to get beat on Man Up by Chase Bear. That's what I would do, you know, but just a lot to hang your hat on for sure. And like you said, without your best offensive threat, without your best offensive player, and he has been for a long time. The irony is, Dane, last year he was their face-off guy, and he didn't even take a face in that Bingham game. And so, you know, they feel confident enough that they've got a face-off guy who can compete and win them face-offs, having Hansen at attack. So definitely lots to be, you know, look forward to if you're Bountiful. You know, I was disappointed, to be honest, that Terry didn't get a goal today. He's got just a great shot. I wish he would have hit the turf a little bit more when he took his shots, but you know, you live and learn.
Do have a flag here on the play as we're inside of a minute to go, and Park City appearing very content to just run this out with the 14-8 lead that they have.
That's definitely a Park City style. I'm actually surprised
Nice
they
save.
took that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the leading scorer, Johnson, who's like, hey, I can't give up that leading torch this early in the year. And now we'll get the whistle, the stoppage here for the penalty. Johnson had a really great start. 2 goals at the break, had 2 in the third before Bayer, that backside, really started to find its momentum. But it's been kind of the 2-man offensive show today for Park City between Brendan and Chase.
Yeah, and Brendan just a sophomore.
Yeah.
Chase just a junior. You know, that's exciting. That's exciting.
Pair games in, and Brendan shooting 56% on the season coming into the game today. So he's been pretty effective for Park City here through the first 3 games.
He has.
And this is a Park City team with a lot of juniors as well. We talk about Byers, they're both juniors. Johnson is sophomore, so there's some youth on this squad here. And Coach Persky, you were saying, you said, hey, we're still young, right? We're still getting in to the culture of this team and our roles and responsibilities. We're inside of 10 seconds to go.
I have been so impressed with 14 on Bountiful, Elgren. Just so impressed. Again, he's the smallest defender out there, but just playing huge and just playing really well for Bountiful.
Johnson has a shot right in front of the net and a save made there by Lowe, and that'll do it. Park City, it was not the prettiest first half for the Miners, but the second half they come through, and it's a 14-8 win for Park City. Tim, your final thoughts and a player of the game?
You know, this was the score we expected. Certainly not the way we expected to get there. You know, just an exciting play. Obviously by both teams. A lot to be grateful for both of these squads. A lot to learn, a lot to improve on. And look, we're only in the second, third game of the year.
Yeah.
Right? These teams have 10, 12, 13 more games to play. Super exciting to see both these teams early in the season. Player of the game has to go to Brendan Johnson. Scoring left and right, you know, really keeping the Miners in this game. Just a great game for him.
First lacrosse game of the year in the books here for KSL Sports. Game Night Live Rewind. We will have lacrosse games for you every week the rest of the year. Tonight, it was Park City, 14-8 over Bountiful. Congratulations to Brendan Johnson on being our player of the game as Park City improves to 2-1. And up next, American Fork later this week. For Vince Francis, Tim Haslam, my name is Dane Stewart. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Heinemann Associates and brought to you by the Riley Jensen Mental Performance Group.